Well, my wife told me not to ask this because it might hurt you, and we have a great affection for you, but
Whoever listens to their wives anymore?
I should walk away right
She's probably right, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, a couple years ago, I asked this question, and it's the same gay son who's stumping this Christian dad, but in a different way, with his liberal, progressive Christian mother, who 2 days after Charlie's death sat in my living room calling Charlie a racist. And I was so infuriated. I don't even know what my question is. Like, what do I do with all this anger? I know it's a lie, but what do I do with this? It's just.
Yeah, that's a hard question. What am I going to do with the anger that when people mischaracterize anyone, especially someone who is just murdered, okay? Because I've known Charlie for 5.5 years. I've worked with him closely. I've looked at the so-called racist comments. They're all taken out of context. People don't know what they're talking about. When Charlie had a white supremacist in one of his meetings, he threw the guy out. Okay? Yeah. So it's nonsense that Charlie Kirk was a racist. And when people say stuff like that, you know the tactical questions. What do you mean by that? And what evidence do you have for that position?
It works better with strangers than your mom.
Yeah, I know. It's hard with family, okay? Yeah. What you might ask is this. Have you investigated this? And if you have, show me the evidence. And if you're wrong, should you be doing this? Because, you know, there's a lot of people online right now making accusations. My friend Mikey McCoy is getting death threats now. Mikey McCoy. I'm getting what appear to be death threats too. You never know what could happen to you, because people are speculating for which they have no evidence. They're speculating about conspiracy theories for which they have no evidence. So I think maybe you can appeal to their conscience a little bit by asking them questions. If what you're doing is untrue, should you continue to do it? What evidence do you have for this claim? What evidence do you have for this accusation? Look, with these conspiracy theories, anything is possible, but a possibility is not evidence. A possibility is not evidence. You can have all sorts of possibilities, but you need evidence for those possibilities, which, by the way, takes us back to the resurrection itself. You know, people would say, well, maybe his body was stolen, or maybe they went to the wrong tomb, or maybe he swooned. All of that's possible. But do you have any first century evidence for this? No. So I would be asking about evidence. Now, look, sometimes, especially with family, I've had discussions with family members of mine, extended family. I ask them a direct question. If Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? Won't answer the question.
Well, the problem with the progressive church, they think they're Christian, but they treat the Bible like a buffet. Yeah.
Well, this one person emailed me or texted me back and said, why do you ask such a question? I had to do with a question about their two issues were abortion and same-sex marriage. I said, the question was, if Jesus didn't want you to abort your children and only wanted you to have sex inside of the marriage of a man and a woman, would you obey him? Why do you ask such a question? Because it shows who your true gods are.
Okay.
Wouldn't answer the question, because the true God is not Jesus. The true God is them.
I'll move on, but just know that Charlie's with my aborted daughter, Emma. They're worshiping God together up in heaven, so there's...
God bless you, sir. Thank you, Drew. Sorry for your pain.